Welcome to the Games Freezer.
Hello, this is Richard from Games Freezer, and today we've got another 10-minute taster just for you. And today's 10-minute taster is for a game called ZHEROS or ZHEROS. I'm not too sure of the pronunciation. I've called it ZHEROS and that works for me, but other people have been calling it ZHEROS or maybe ZHEROS. Anyway, so this 10-minute taster, all about ZHEROS. It's a beat 'em up, kind of side-scrolling beat 'em up. Interesting little game, this one. I've played some few hours with it, and I wanted to show you the first level of this game, so as I can just give you a taster for what it's all about. So the sequence you're seeing at the minute is just like the intro sequence, basically telling you a bit of backstory being your usual generic villain, who's basically turning people into robots, an army of robots commanded by the evil guy Dr. Vendetta, who's turning people into robots. So you're basically thrown into this situation and have got to beat up as many robots as you can, using your special kicks and punches, etc. There's two characters, one by the name of Mike, who's a kind of beast. He's in there just to punch the hell out of everybody, and the other is a girl by the name of Dorian, who is nimble. She'll jump around, throw some kicks and punches, and slide about quite nimbly. So pretty straightforward concept, pretty good stuff. I mean, with this game, number one, it's fun. For me, it's fun. It is a good distraction from the more serious games that I've been playing recently. The kind of game that you can just pick up, play, let off some steam, and play a quick session through. So with this, I found initially quite tough to pick up how to shoot. For some reason, I found that quite tough. You've got a long hold on your R2 trigger in order to shoot, and sometimes you're just lining that up and then you'll get shot, and that stops the shooting animation from following through, which can be a little bit annoying at first, but once you get used to it, then it's all about timing. You've got to get your shots in before you get shot, which kind of makes sense. So I can see why they went with that. But aiming with the gun is can be a little bit hit and miss sometimes, but overall it's good. But I rarely use the gun, I've got to admit. It's more of a jump, kick and punch kind of game. You'll find yourself being able to use different combinations of the kick and the punch while you're in the air or while you're on the ground, in order to produce some different combos. One of the aims of the game is obviously to build up some combos as you go through, and you'll get awarded accordingly for the amount of combos that you've built up through the level once you've completed it. One of the other things with this game as well is the enemies. They're pretty cool, actually. I mean, they're good looking little enemies, but there's not much variation, to be fair. You've got a lot of robots, a lot of minion type robots, grunts that you're working through, and they're fairly similar. But other than that, it's quite a nice looking game, really. I found that when you in a group of robots and you're trying to get rid of them, this kind of like jumping and smashing the ground maneuver seemed to clear the way, so as you can then get stuck in with a few kicks and punches. It took me a while to sort of like get used to doing that, because this isn't the style of game that I'd usually play, and there's not many about, to be fair, these style of beat 'em ups, side scroller beat 'em ups. So it's getting back into the groove of sort of lining up your kicks and your punches into your enemies, and then getting involved with smacking the crap out of them, basically. There seems to be as well a lot of help. I'm on normal difficulty, and you seem to get a lot of barrels full of energy, so you never really feel like you're in trouble, because you know that around that next corner on that next screen, once you've cleared your group of 6 robots that you generally come up against, you will then be awarded with some energy. Energy being the sort of life force at the top, the green style of energy. The blue energy at the bottom is actually utilised for attacks, such as gun attacks. So you collect that, and once you've built that bar up, then you can then fire off your gun. So that allows you to not spam so much, I suppose, not use your gun so much, and you'll have to sort of build that up and be patient. So that's quite a good touch, actually. I do like that. The other thing to mention maybe with this as well that I find kind of odd was the camera. It seemed to be a bit strange. Just the way it moves about is a bit jolty. You do get used to it, but at first it was a bit jarring, and it didn't really open out enough for me to see where I was running to. I just almost need it a little bit further back, and then when the action kicks in, maybe zoom in, or even just stay further back, because I'm sure that you get used to that. But it's sort of in and out a bit. It's a little bit in and out, but again, you get used to it, and it's pretty cool once you get used to it. You've got a block function as well. I don't know if you've seen me pull up the red shield, and you can basically block in there with L2, so you can sort of deflect bullets. Don't really use it that much on the early levels, I've got to admit, so it might well be that it comes into play later on during the gameplay, maybe on the later levels. I've played a couple of hours on this so far, so I'm pretty early on in. But yeah, so far so good. It's one of them games as well that maybe you'll get away with being a bit of a button masher, potentially, but that's not a bad thing. I mean, this is not a precision Street Fighter style game or anything along those lines. This is a hack and slash, really, in the mould of the old Streets of Rage and Golden Axe. You know, you're side scrolling, you're just clearing the screen of enemies. So yeah, button mashing, it's not such a dirty word, really, but yeah, just thought I'd mention that you can actually get away with that, and sometimes I found that I came up with better combinations by doing that button mashing. You know how it is, you stumble across these things. I might become a bit more refined as I go through the game. So yeah, the other thing to mention as well is the run feature. So if you need to sort of dash through to the other side of the screen in order to collect some energy when you're faced with a screen full of baddies, then you can do the dash function. So this camera angle now that it's showing me, I like this. I think that's much better than the standard camera angle when it pans out, but then it comes back into the close-up. It needs something maybe in between that in order for it to be a quality camera angle. But other than that, good game. So at the minute we're at the end part of the level, as you can see by the little sort of hologram guy waving the checkered flag. So this will be the last group of enemies that I have to fight as I get through here. By this point, felt like I'd got used to the controls, felt a bit more in control of what I was doing, so it was a pretty good kind of learning tutorial almost level. So yeah, so the other thing to mention as well that I found a little bit frustrating was the loading time. So when I first fired it up, it kind of felt like it was stuck. It was stuck on like a 4%, but then all of a sudden, after about 3 or 4 minutes of waiting, it kicked in and loaded really quickly. But it felt kind of strange. It felt like the game had crashed. So I was about to almost restart it, and then it kicked back in. I don't know if that was just my version or not, but just something to mention, maybe something to look out for if you buy it. The loading times are a little bit long, so be patient. Maybe another thing to mention as well is that while I'm running, is the running style seems a little bit janky sometimes. You know, the actual run, the quick run's pretty good, but when you're sort of running around a level, doing the usual run style, it just feels a bit bouncy and odd. Again, you get used to it, but yeah, at first that was my initial impression from my my first 10-minute kind of taster. But again, coming back to the summary of this game, it's good fun, and sometimes that's all you need from a video game, a bit of good fun. So hopefully you'll enjoy it as much as I did. Give it a go. Out on PS4 at the minute. Give ZHEROS a go. See you soon. Bye.
www.gamesfreezer.eu